years ago, there was a great buzz, a paper came out that stated that our attention span shortened from a 12 seconds average attention span to an 8 seconds, which apparently is shorter than the attention span of a goldfish that has a 9 seconds attention span. Now, in 2017, a new paper came out. Usually there's always a new paper who challenged the facts and the statistics and the source, but the trend remains valid. We can all sense it in our attention span, in the attention span of our customers and potential leads. We have many more distractions. We are distracted more easily. The nice thing about the mobile world is that it is so heavily researched that you can find very, very interesting statistics about the mobile behavior. Millennials check their phones 150 times per day. We only check around 80. That's still every 20 minutes on average. We spend over 2 hours a day in the different social channels. 61% of us check their emails through mobile phones, and almost half of us also check their emails in the toilet. Yeah. Scrolling speed. It varies with age. It's not surprising that our kids scroll a lot faster than we do, but we scroll fast. We spend an average 1.7 seconds on a piece of content. That's the time that we have to convey the brand story, okay, on average. On desktop, we have almost another second. We all know that video is one of the most effective tools to convey our message. Over 100 million hours of videos are consumed every day on Facebook. Now, if you're talking about video ads, Facebook did a research about their most successful campaigns, and of those campaigns, almost 50%, the majority of the value was displayed in the first 3 seconds. And in 75% of these very successful campaigns, it was in the first 10 seconds. And this is the most staggering fact, another research, okay? Content recall is statistically significant after a quarter of a second. So the definition between stopping the scroll on your piece of content or continuing to scroll and missing your opportunity is less than a second. It's a fraction, it's a blink of an eye. So why is the digital story so important? Because you have so little time to convey it. So you need to optimize your brand digital story. You need to capture the attention in those very crucial fractions of a second that define, are you a successful marketer, meaning someone stopped the scroll and took a look at what you had to say, or did they continue in their scroll? Everything should be adapted for the ultra-fast consumption of the mobile age, and we have thresholds to remember. So the first screen of whatever we do, we should capture the quarter of a second impact. And then we have the average consumption of 1.7 seconds, and if we're talking videos, let's try to make most of our value proposition be presented in the first 3 seconds. But like every good story, the digital story must be something that relates to us on an emotional level. Be authentic, be relatable, something that people can relate to. So I have a few nice examples today. The first example of a very good story is Nike. And one of Nike's co-founder, Bill Bowerman, had a statement, and it is still today one of Nike's mission statements. The statement is very simple. If you have a body, you're an athlete. That's it. If you're thinking about the road from if you have a body, you're an athlete, to just do it, the road is not long. It's very relatable, it's very human, it's very emotional. And in the past few years, they're also promoting a large campaign for women that states better for it. Meaning no matter what challenges you face, when you want to just do it, when you complete your exercise, you feel better for it. The first Just Do It commercial is from 1988, that's 30 years ago. And it shows an elderly man, shirtless elderly man, running on the Golden Gate Bridge. And one of the sentences there, he's saying, people ask me, how do I keep my teeth from chattering? I leave them in the locker. And it's an ad for shoes, for Nike shoes. Now, if you're thinking back 30 years, it was all hard sell, product-oriented, only pretty people, perfect people, okay? So their intuitive understanding of the relatable, of the authenticity, created a great story that is lasting for the past 30 years. This is from a year and a half ago. Nike launched a pro-hijab campaign for the Arab audience. There was quite a controversy about the campaign. Is it supporting women or is it oppressive against women? But if you're thinking about the basic truth of the brand, which is if you have a body, you're an athlete, then pro-hijab for the Arab market. They're the first company who came out with such a campaign. And it's a beautiful campaign. And this campaign, of course, went all around the social and the digital arena in the Arab countries, and it was very successful. This is the Better For It campaign, another cool video. Please check it out. And the video says, if I'm in a spinning class, oh, why did these models sit in front of me? Or I think I'm almost in the middle of my run. No, I only did 2 miles. All of the self-doubts, the questions, the insecurities about the exercise. And then once you overcome, once you achieved, you feel better for it. So again, the distance between if you have a body, you can do it, to the just do it, even though you have self-doubts. And then to feeling better for it, it's relatable, it's authentic. It's not only pretty people doing pretty things. That's a great story. Now, some industries were always about the stories because the product is just... Back in the 80s, and I'm from a kibbutz, so I should know, we all wanted to hang out with the Marlboro Man. They never sold us cigarettes. They sold us the coolness of it. Okay? If you were cool back in the 80s, you smoked. Smoking in the boys' room, right? Now, this kind of epiphany of masculinity is not going to work today because it's not authentic. It's not really relatable. Okay, people do smoke today, but this kind of ad won't work in the social age. So, fast forward 40 years, a brilliant takeoff that targeted women. You know this campaign? I'm sure you do. If you don't, please, I beg you, go to YouTube and just look for the Smell Like a Man. Now, this campaign targeted women. And why women? Because women buy the soap and shampoo, etc. in the household. So you're taking this epiphany of masculinity, you're ridiculing it a little bit, and you're creating a very relatable, emotional, it is authentic because you laugh at yourself because it's ridiculous. And it was a very, very successful, viral, social, digital campaign. Whenever I show neat stories or nice stories like that, I always get, okay, but that's B2C, they have so much money. What do B2B companies do? What can we do in the limited resources that we have? Now, B2B companies, B2B brands, are year after year among the strongest brands there are. Mostly in B2B companies, we are enablers, meaning we enable our customers to do their job better, to perform better. And many of the examples that I'll show today are indeed of the enablement. So these are all examples from my personal feed in the past few weeks. This is actually brilliant. I had a problem with my Facebook Pixel, you know, the little chunk of code that enables you to do retargeting campaigns. Something was wrong with it. This is a service call. They turned it into an ad. So Facebook is telling me, not only do we want you to spend money on our platforms, we've got your back. If there's something wrong, we'll let you know. They turn it into an ad. They have my back. I really like that. With LinkedIn, it's all about the quality of the leads, of course, because they are so expensive. A case study, how you got better quality of the leads, so you can afford to pay so much for those leads. Now, we all know marketing automation platforms, and once you get a potential lead in the wrong vertical, it's very hard to get them to the right vertical. So for some reason, Google is chasing me with small, medium business ads. Don't know why. But they're good ads. I mean, if I was a small, medium business, I would like to work here. I get a 300 shekels coupon to spend on Google ads. So, good ad, wrong vertical. And using the right buzzword is always something that helps me notice something. IBM may have targeted me before, I don't know, but they're now targeting me with the GDPR. Are you ready for the GDPR? Is your organization ready for the GDPR? It's the new regulation for privacy. So, different examples all relate to the enablement. Okay? Help me perform my job better. But not all companies take this route. MailChimp, I'm sure everyone here knows MailChimp. They started out as an email company, but they're now a full-blown, have the full capabilities of marketing automation. And they took a different approach. It's still enablement. Their motto is build your brand, sell more stuff. Okay, again, enablement, helping you do your job better. So what they did is a campaign that took different words, ridiculous words, that all sounds a little bit like MailChimp. And they created a complete campaign for each of those words with social ads and a microsite and YouTube clips, and they promoted them heavily. And whenever you went to the microsite of those impossibly ridiculous names, I'll show more examples soon, you could see that officially, of course, we're MailChimp, but if you couldn't tell by now, we're not so concerned with what people call us. Okay? That comes to show me that whatever I have to sell, and however challenging it is to sell it, MailChimp has an arena of tools to support my efforts. So they had the jail blimp and the kale limp, and the fail chips, which is actually not a bad idea. It's selling chips that are already broken. It was a very successful campaign in conveying to marketers, which are the target audience, that whatever product they have, MailChimp has the tools to help them. And my last example, WeWork has a mission of create a world where people work to make a life, not just a living. Create your life's work. It means WeWork takes the overhead concerns that we have. They're going to take care of everything and let us focus in what we do best, in our professional challenges. And their recent campaigns, or they have a very strong Instagram campaign, and they're doing a lot of cooperations, bringing life into the workplace, different lectures, etc. And this is an example just from last month. They announced a cooperation with J.Crew, which is a fashion brand. There were WeWork employees performing as models for J.Crew on a special brochure, and ads and social ads, etc. And also, J.Crew had a pop-up booth at different WeWork places. Okay, so again, if you're thinking about their basic story, which is we bring life, we bring added value, just open your office with us, then it all ties into different selective campaigns, which is this example with J.Crew. So again, takeaways. Optimize your digital story. Make sure that whatever you have to say is condensed, it's concise, it's sharp. you have only fractions of a second to capture the attention. Everything that you make, whatever medium you use, make sure it's all adapted for ultra-fast consumption. And the thresholds is something that should be in the back of our minds whenever we create a new marketing asset. We have only a quarter of a second to grab the attention in a feed. In any digital effort, this is the first threshold. We have approximately 2 seconds on average to get the message across. And if we're talking video, we have 3 seconds, and at best, we have 10 seconds. So whatever you say after those 10 seconds is almost irrelevant. Make sure you have a good digital story that you can tell in seconds. And of course, in order to create a good digital story, it must be authentic. Okay? It must be something that isn't marketing fluff. It should be authentic, it should be emotional, something that grabs the attention, and something relatable that your potential leads and customers can relate to. And that's it. Thank you.